It's confirmed, everybody. It is fraud on every level and every type of court. I'm a witness. It's there, everybody. Hey, everybody. This is Keeping It Real with Dr. Lil. And I'm just here to give you guys an update on all the drama and things that me and my godson, has been going through. But for those of you who don't know, I've been just moving around my life for the last 14 years, chasing fraud and thinking that as it goes up the chain, it's going to get better. And in some cases, it may, depending on who you get. But if you get a judge who does pretty much everything everybody else does, only been in around for 2 years, it's a federal judge, and then wants not to mess up the establishment, or I guess have friends, they lower their standards. So yes, everybody, the case that I had in for New Jersey that I put in some time ago, which was delayed for the last 7, 8 months by the leaders, the magistrate and a deputy attorney general of New Jersey, this particular case that I've been doing all this time by the stroke of a pen or just because you can, wants to dismiss my case entirely. You heard it. As a matter of fact, they did it. We already got the order. But just imagine, everybody, that you, been doing a case for 14 years that has all the elements of fraud, is dealing with different levels, diversity, federal questions, due process, other things, and you want to throw it out, all of it? I'm telling you, everybody, it's a mind-blowing thing. But it's awakening, and I want y'all to get ready. There are some great things. I'm so glad. In some cases, I kind of am glad, but I'm not. Because now you kind of didn't want to believe that the federal court was low down or whatever. Because I saw different things going on, even with the cases with Diddy and Jay-Z dealing with the 13-year-old girl. And Annalisa Torres was a district court judge, female, and it looked like she had credibility, and she did. And that was giving me hope that some of the judges at the federal level would have some decency and an order. But unfortunately, they didn't, everybody. So we're going to go into some more details with this. But I wanted to come on to get you all caught up because I know you were asking. And the crazy thing about it is that sometimes these judges don't even know if there are family members of yours working for them or around them, and kind of know some stuff. But the biggest thing is knowing God and knowing that God will make sure we prevail in justice. I know we will prevail in justice, everybody. And if I got to keep going after it, I'm going to keep going after it, right? So yeah, keeping it real with Dr. Lil. I'm just glad to be here. Excited, kind of tired, been traveling, and we got some things going on with new legislations. It's been going on for the last 3 or 4 years, but we finally got the door open we needed when all those other dramas coming on. And now we get to make some amendments, if you will, or attachments, or whatever you want to call it, to an existing law. So it's a beautiful thing to do that, because it's necessary and needed. But yes, for those who don't know, there is progress going on in the land in spite of what some of these intercourse. Now, what happens a lot of times is that when you are not making a whole lot of noise about a case or something, that sometimes, I think anyway, that the judges and them will just take it for granted. And I kind of feel like that's what happened in our case here. So I'm looking forward to us being able to show you all what justice looks like. And I've already got my confirmation, if you will. But again, it's sad to see that some of the persons that are involved are going to go down with whoever they're going to go down with. It's kind of sad. I'm not even going to lie. Because when you think that a minority too is going to get up there and do what's right, you find out not so much. But nonetheless, here we are today dealing with the live. So there's a lot of stuff happening. So our New Jersey case dealing with the judges, I think his last name is Judge Keel. We're going to give you more details later, has dismissed the case with prejudice just a couple days ago, because he said he don't have jurisdiction of the judges, or the judges are immune even though they didn't have jurisdiction. So we'll get into that later. We got the experts here to talk with us. Nonetheless, we have other cases, as you know, and as those other cases unfold, we will talk about them. I want to talk about all of them at one time because it's too much, but there are going to be several cases out there, and nonetheless, those cases are kind of twined together. So thankfully, the truth going to prevail. Everybody, the truth going to prevail. Ain't nothing you can do to stop it. So at the end of the day, I'm here to talk about what I need to talk about. So what first thing I wanted to do was get y'all abreast on my case and let you know everything is going to be good. We're going to make it. It's going to be fine. And then I also wanted to just get entwined what was going on with the Diddy case and some of the other things on the docket. Now, why is the Diddy case so big? Because Diddy, similar things that we have to deal with in terms of court systems, obviously, and then judges and attorneys. In our case, we've dealt with a lot of corrupt attorneys and judges. Now, for the New Jersey case, we had that in the federal court. That will remain in federal court for at least right now anyway. And basically, in a nutshell, those judges did things they wasn't supposed to do and had no authority to do it. They had no authority on several reasons. One, because it wasn't true. And second, because they had no jurisdiction. They literally didn't have jurisdiction, but they were doing what they wanted to do because they figured they could get away with it. When you come against and hope that when you get a judge and you thinking and hoping that this person, because they're a minority and they just got started 2 years ago, that they're going to do the right thing. That's what you want to believe. And then you find out that they are afraid to go against the establishments and the things of that nature. And then also some of them don't even want to tell you what they do or what the work they do, even though in your complaint it had us all there. So nonetheless, here we are today. So I wanted to go and talk a little bit about one of the things that were on now with the Diddy case. I got so much with the Diddy case, I don't even know which way to go, to tell you the truth. So nonetheless, we are talking back that it's going to be a thing where I'm going to show you, but that I can tell you. So let's see if we can get in here and move around a little bit because I need to be able to do that for you. So the first thing you already know about some of the Diddy stuff, and I was doing some of the Diddy stuff again because it ties into us, and then my godson may be a part of that case later. Nonetheless, the tie-in is about the system, having the system work for you. Let's see what he's talking about. I'm online, sir, so I really can't talk to nobody right now. So here we are. Okay. Right now I'm online working. Okay, we'll call later. All right, so there's a lot of little stuff out there that's going on, and you sometimes when the stuff happens, you kind of wondering how God's going to work this out and what capacity is he going to use it. So now, as we walk this out, this last incident that's happened this week, like I said, you kind of wish stuff like this wouldn't happen, but when it does, it's always to your benefit. And this is what I wanted to encourage people on, to not give up on their circumstances and situations. If you are in anything similar to mine or Diddy, in his case, he did some things he wasn't supposed to do. So the victims are actually other people. But at the end of the day, if you find yourself in these kind of situations, then I recommend that you evaluate the situation and see whether you're supposed to do this, that, and the other, and then do whatever you need to do. Now, we know it's not always going to be easy. There's a lot of times this stuff is going to be challenges because you're going to run against people who are in an establishment that don't want to change it or afraid to. And they kind of try to use what they call a loophole or a tweak to take you down. But in most cases, y'all better listen to me, it won't work. Because behind the scenes, there's people talking. And there's people letting other people know that the public, like myself, know what's really going on. And justice will be served. So the first thing I wanted to do was, I thought that the last thing I played was 2 days ago. I'm going to play a couple things. I don't think I want to do this day 8. I want to do a thing about the young man's car getting blown up. Now, what I want to talk about is why nothing was done up until this point. Y'all catching me? This is a federal problem. Why was it that this young man had to go through all of this to get to this place so that people can know his car was blown up? Was there something done? We know when people got money, they do bad things. We know that. I know that firsthand. But at the end of the day, I want to know, was there an investigation? Was there a police report? Or are we just hearing about this just now? Why was this covered up? So this is similar to some of the concerns I have with my case. That, let me put that back because it's just like a lot of light, everybody. It's just a lot going on with the government not doing some of their due process that they're supposed to do. And you and I, we got to stay on point, everybody. We got to pay attention. So in the upcoming weeks or upcoming days, I promise you, there's going to be some things you're going to hear about and know about in the community and stuff that's happening, because I've heard some things about some of these other cases. And like I said, my godson might be a part of this, this thing that's going on with Diddy. It's a lot happening right before our eyes. And I think that whatever your call is, what you're supposed to do to help make sure our community is intact, you should do it, right? So what a judge says or not says does not change the directory of what's going to happen. But when they're outside of the law, we're going to make it so you're going to get back in it. Otherwise, you ain't going to be in there, right? So I wanted to play, the first clip I wanted to play was going to be about what Diddy's, there is a lot going on with that. I'm not going to deal with no stupid stuff. I wanted to deal with the stuff with him and, let's see how this looks over here. I wanted to deal with the stuff with him and this car thing. Because my godson's car got shot up. Remember that? He got shot up because we went to court. So when I asked this round coming up to kind of do it behind the scenes, I think the court thinks because I'm not talking about stuff, it's nothing going to happen. Look, something going to happen. So at the end of the day, it's sad when a judge, especially at a federal level, who's been put there to uphold the law, will not follow the process that's necessary and needed and thinks that nobody knows? Are you kidding me? So at the end of the day, I wanted to play this clip. I wanted to go and talk about it, but I can relate to it because it's about, as I said, my godson and I been through some stuff already when it comes down to this. And I just feel like we got to keep talking about it. We have to keep talking about it, and we have to let people know that the parents and the loved ones who die for this country ain't gonna let you just go do what you're gonna do. They're not doing that, y'all. So yeah, at the end of the day, I'm trying to get it so that I'm not too small, but that's what I think that's what I wanted. Okay, we'll try that. You do all these little things, you just know how they are, right? But let's listen in on this a little bit. Let's talk about, because like I said, these cases are very, very close to what we're going through. Crime in high places. And sometimes the judges are involved. And it appears that now is a season and a time to change that. So some of us are going to be about that. We got the Pro Se Abuse Act already that's been accepted. And now we're trying to move it into other states other than the states where we have. And you're going to be hearing about it. You're going to be hearing about other stuff. So I want you to stay tuned and pay attention. because the establishment, the corruption is going to have to come down. And the reason why is because when you step on the wrong people's toes for justice, and God's toes is the biggest, it's going to be a problem, right? So at the end of the day, people ain't going to let you just get away with murder or blowing their car up or shooting their car up. And when a judge or an attorney who's supposed to be gatekeepers for the law and the court are part of the problem, whether it's the state judges or the federal, that's a problem. So pay attention, everybody. Let's just play the clip and then we'll talk about it on the other side, because talking is a good thing.
Pooh Daddy has been ripping it thick and through during the trial. It's been reported via courtroom observers that he basically has been passing a lot of gas, making people in the trial uncomfortable. But to be honest with you, this man is coming straight from prison. He was not granted one of Cassie's, testimonies. Now it makes sense why, because this man was passing gas testimony.
Right,
and we're going to run through what he basically stated. He was giving great answers.
When I started Walton Goggins goggle glasses, I needed a website. Figuring out how to make one was pretty hard.
Because
he was yawning. He clearly was very chilled and relaxed. He spoke on the fact that Diddy was violent. He said that Cassie was hit. Cassie was uncomfortable. Brian Steele, the lawyer doing the cross-examination, did a very poor performance. The weak defense basically stating that, well, if Cassie played you, Kid Cudi, Cassie also played Diddy. It looks like Cassie's a bad person here. And also confirming that Cassie gave Diddy the address to where Kid Cudi lived, and therefore all of this is Cassie's fault. Not the fact that Diddy was the one that carried all of this out by going to his address apparently and blowing up the car apparently, but Cassie's at fault even though Diddy hasn't done anything. It was a very weak defense from Brian Steele. I'm extremely disappointed. I was looking forward to his cross-examination legal techniques, but maybe he too was bothered by the gas that was passing in the courtroom and simply just could not deal with Diddy and his bubble farts coming out of his bubble hole. He also dropped that Capricorn Clark for saying that she was crying on the phone. She said that Diddy was lying when he tried to act like he didn't do anything. And Kid Cudi testified that Sean Diddy Combs' employee Capricorn Clark called Kid Cudi from outside his own house that morning in December, and she told him Diddy came to her apartment and physically forced her into a car. He said that Kid Cudi's Porsche damaged with Molotov cocktails, and that basically Diddy tried to poison Kid Cudi because he kept offering Kid Cudi glasses of water, and he was very, nervous about why Diddy was doing this. So, he did mention the fact that Cassie was forced into a car. Diddy was violent. He felt like Diddy was lying. And this all is important for the jury because it helps to really push the RICO charge, because Diddy not only was harming Cassie, but of course, Kid Cudi here as well in regards to a car being blown up. So to be honest with you, he didn't directly say, I have evidence of Diddy doing this, but he felt like Diddy did this, and that in itself is strong for me. The one thing that upset me is that he felt like he was played by Cassie, and he said that publicly. But how can you be played by somebody who is under duress? How can you be played by somebody who's also a victim? How can you be played by somebody whilst you're also admitting that that same person was being forced into a car, that same person was being hit and uncomfortable? How can you be played by somebody who's going through these unfair stipulations by Diddy? It doesn't make any sense. It was a contradiction on his behalf, and I don't think it was fair for him to say that Cassie played him when he knew that Cassie was going through so much with that man, because he also confessed that on the stage himself, on the stand himself. But overall, his testimony was strong, up there with Carrie Morgan and Cassie's mother, three people with straight, strong testimonies. I believe that this man was the 16th or 15th witness, so we've gone through so many people, guys, in a week and a half. Honestly, time is flying, and by the end of this, we're going to look back at this trial and just think that all of this went past us so quickly. So, really soak this in, guys, because this trial is one for the books, high profile and absolutely mad. And I'm glad that Kid Cudi came to do what he needed to do. I'm glad that he testified, as far as I'm concerned. He gave straight good answers. He literally said he felt like Diddy was violent. He felt like he said that Diddy forced her into a car to go meet him. He said that basically somebody harmed his dog. His dog felt very jittery, and that they went into his home, unwrapped his Christmas presents, but nothing else was taken or stolen. And so, it's very odd, the things that Diddy was doing. But apparently, once Diddy found out that Cassie and Kid Cudi were dating, Diddy went into Cassie's place, pooed in his a hotel, and etc. He might have had a loose booty hole for a very long time, if that's basically what he was doing, because we did see in the freak-off cabinets 2 dildos, one in his mouth, probably one behind, roasting it up like an oiled pig. But this basically what is going on. Myla Morales came in as a next witness, Cassie's hairstylist, to confirm that basically Cassie was hit multiple times, and that she took Cassie with her to the doctors to make sure that she was okay. Then there was a special agent, Josh Croft, who came into the manor as well, somebody who basically works in the human trafficking unit, and explains that a lot of the data that Diddy basically thought he removed has not been removed. It all is still there in unallocated places. You can still retain the drive even if you do a factory reset. They didn't go into what the information was, and I felt like they didn't, because they're saving that for the next couple of weeks, and I'm not mad at that. Then you also have witness Frederick Zamora, who is a general manager of a hotel, who confirms that there was candle wax on the carpets and they charged $500, and that nothing in regards to these hotel rooms were approved.
If you're serious about doing well on the LSAT, like, this is the way. Yeah, I mean, it really like changed my life.
Unless it was approved by Christina Coram. Once again, guys, her name is being mentioned. Her name was mentioned so much today in the trial, and to me it is honestly bemusing. It's just like she's this kind of omnious force where we don't know who she is, but this woman keeps being mentioned because she hasn't been subpoenaed as far as I'm concerned. She's not a co-conspirator as far as I'm concerned. So there's no way that this woman is randomly unaffected by this trial in terms of being called to stand. She's so heavily involved, she has to be one way, shape or form. So my thing is this: I feel like her name being mentioned multiple times is something that the prosecution are planning and doing on purpose. They want the witnesses that they have to mention Christina Coram's name so that the jury have this woman in her mind, to the point where near the end of the trial, they're going to bring Christina Coram as a surprise witness, so that by that time that she actually takes a stand and snakes on her man, Diddy, the jury will definitely know not only who she is, but how powerful she is in regards to the Diddy enterprise and how involved she was with everything. This is why I feel like this is happening, because we've heard now Christina Coram so many times. Cassie mentioned her. We've got this particular witness mentioning her, and also I believe somebody else mentioned her as well yesterday. Either it was Carrie Morgan or somebody else, perhaps. A lot of people, Carrie Morgan mentioned her as well. So many people mentioned her. So I feel like the prosecution are setting the groundworks right now for the jury to know who this woman is, and then bam, she's going to come in and she's going to expose things completely. She has to be a key asset to Diddy getting the RICO charge, and they are fine with giving her immunity if it means getting this man down for the charges. They want this man down. They want Diddy. They don't want KK. Ain't nobody want KK, because let's keep it real. Let's keep it a buck. Before this Diddy trial, nobody knew who she was. She's not a high profile person. They want to get this man down. And so this is what I think that they are doing. They are laying the foundation and groundworks for her, and then boom, Christina Coram walks out. They're all going to know who she is. She spills mad information, 2-3 days of testimonies, and that's going to massively help them get this RICO charge. I'm so disappointed in Brian Steele. I can't explain to you guys how much I felt that this man was going to give some kind of strong cross-examination. Of course, they're going to come off bad. They're defending a criminal. We all know that. But there's meticulous ways that you can drive around a conversation or an argument like Nicole Westmoreland did, but Brian Steele did an awful job. And coming off the back of Young Thug's case, you're now going to be remembered for this madness and how you're messing this up. Awful. I'm so sorry. Awful. Now, back to Diddy passing gas. Unfortunately, the courtroom observers, guys, noted frequent shifting in his seat, adjusting his posture, leaning forward and then back, all classic signs of discomfort. And at times he appears physically uneasy, squirming in his chair or fidgeting with his clothes. There have been even moments when courtroom attendees exchange glances over odd, sudden noises coming from Diddy's seat.
All right, I think that's a good place to stop, everybody. I'm not trying to go through all of the stuff. I'm just trying to get bits and pieces from different bloggers who have something to give. Now, one of the things that he talked about was the, I'm looking now. I'm not trying to. All right, so we're going to stop sharing that. One of the things he talked about was the blowing the car up, which is a big deal. And then I was trying to find my godson. For those of you who don't remember, his car got shot up. And this stuff still haunts you. So I wanted to keep this in front so everybody can see what we've been through too. Because each time these things happen, and we did report it to the police. Let me go back and see how this is looking, because sometimes I can't tell what's going on. Okay. So remember this, everybody? And then, of course, they came on my lawn. I'll bring that up as well. I'm going to keep this in front of everybody. This is Ramir Satterwhite's car shot up. because we were seeking the truth. We had an attorney and there was judges involved. We believe more the attorneys did this, that they had more to lose because they were supposed to uphold the law. And then the attorneys, the judges knew that Sean Carter, Jay-Z, had a past, if you will, a criminal record. That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm not saying Jay-Z has anything to do with it, but some people came to me, especially when all this happened, and said, well, do you think that because of Diddy and Jay-Z being so close, that maybe even Diddy could have been doing some of the stuff for Jay-Z? Now, obviously, I don't know, nonetheless, but I was trying to get to everybody to the fact that something was wrong, because here you have people trying to just get a legal matter done, and now it's becoming like a threat to to your life. There was an attempted murder on Ramir Sadoway. Who did? Why is this not dealt with or talked about? Even with this Kid Cudi guy, his car was blown up. Did they know he was in the car or not in the car? I mean, whoever is doing this, we obviously got issues and are thugs and criminals and blah, blah, blah. But why? Because you want a girl back or you want something? I mean, come on now. This really tell us what it is. So I think that this is a big deal because each time I look at the stuff and I see our case in it, I want to just tell everybody. And I thought that the judges would have been more sympathetic and trying to resolve our issues, but they ain't been doing nothing, y'all. It's been a problem. So I'm concerned about that as well. Now I'm looking around here to see. I had some other stuff going on. It's not in that window. So I have other things going on because I wanted to let you guys see. I don't know if my grass is in here or not, but we'll see. I'm going to keep it in front of everybody so y'all won't forget it. And hopefully this won't happen to somebody you know. But at the end of the day, it might happen to somebody you know. And it could be your own family. So I want people to get this thing. So I think it's in my house. It's called the house grass or something. But I'm going to keep on keeping on with this until other people get it, that this is a problem, and that we didn't cause the problem. We went to court seeking justice for something, and it turned into a mess, everybody. So at the end of the day, I'll find it, but I wanted to get that out again. It should have been in my pictures. I don't know why it's not there. And I just called it grass stuff, whatever. But yeah, just weird stuff. So Kid Cudi. So Kid Cudi was the one person I wanted to show you guys some information on. For those who just coming in, I did tell everybody that our complaint was dismissed entirely based on the judge saying he don't have jurisdiction of fraud, and he don't have jurisdiction of 14th Amendment. He don't have jurisdiction of due process. Any federal questions he don't have jurisdiction of. That's what he said. He said if it ain't properly before, what is properly before you when you got 39 pages or something and you want to try to pick one line that you think is a problem and that's going to be the reason? I mean, come on now. And you're a minority. You're a minority. You didn't been through it, but because you're in that seat now, you are not going to go against the establishments because they won't like you. I mean, this is what's going on, everybody. It's embarrassing. Sometimes it's embarrassing to live in this country. I'm going to just show you guys some stuff while I'm looking for this. I like to show pictures and stuff of things that represent where people are right now. It is what it is, y'all. Some people don't like when you do that, but it's too bad. But let me see. I go over here. I got 2 pictures of this showing up. I don't want that. So what I'll probably do is come back over here again and just do what I do. At the end of the day, it is what it is. So the share screen. So we'll go back and look at some of the videos We have a few that we're going to do. I've already talked about mine. We're going to talk about some more. As I said, my godson, is involved with some stuff, and he may be testifying for some things. And I'm glad that we have gotten to a place they do understand that some of these situations and violences that are happening is crazy. So, but this was another one about this involves the 13-year-old girl who had allegations against Diddy and Jay-Z. And this 13-year-old girl, there was another young lady who was about 17. She's going to tell you in the story here why she thinks that the story was true, because she said the security asked her to go to a party too, and she was underage. And she said she really looked at underage and he didn't even care. But I wanted to do that. I wanted to play that and so let you hear. I thought it was interesting that she says she kind of believes or does believe the 13-year-old girl who has allegations, who was 13, and had allegations about when she got invited to a party. And when she got invited there, of course, you know what she said happened. She was raped. And she said it was done by her, by P. Diddy and Jay-Z. Now, she threw the case out because it was based on, according to her, she didn't want to be harassed no more, not because of the merits. So there's a young lady in this video here that says she could relate to that because she was kind of picked up by some people as well. So I'm going to let you hear it, and I'm going to look for that grass one, y'all, because I want y'all to keep, I'm going to keep it in front of everybody. I'm gonna keep it in front of everybody.
Had on live with
That's what I'm gonna do.
Woman who wanted to come and speak about her story in regards to Roger Bonds and how this particular person was helping Diddy and basically trying to recruit young girls. Hey guys, it's Rob Ali, daily and consistent content. Let's get straight into this video. I want to play you this interview, which I think was very interesting. Interview, whatever you want to call it, during one of my lives. People come in to chat, and what she said and her story was very interesting.
We got somebody joining.
Hi, I just got my son off the school bus.
Hello, Parker.
5 seconds. I have a little story to tell. So when I was 17 years old,
talk to me, Parker.
Walking down the street, and I'm from New York, so I was walking down the street in Harlem, and Roger Bonds pulled up next to me in a silver BMW and proceeds to ask for my telephone number. Okay, so at 17, this is the summer I graduated high school, and I had done a photo shoot with Smooth magazine, the men's magazine. So at 17, did I look grown? Maybe a little bit, but I still look 17.
Right.
I'm 40 now, and do I look 40? No. Okay, so you can imagine at 17. When I met him, though, I went to his house, and I saw a classmate of mine. My classmate and him told me that they were brothers.
Okay.
It wasn't until months later, once I stopped talking to him, he popped too many pills. He would invite me over to watch porn. He would, exactly. This is what he was doing. So when that little girl said that Diddy's security was the one that invited her to the after party, I believe her.
Right.
I believe that. That is very much
so
something that happened in New York.
That's what I was talking about.
Let's roll back. So this classmate,
yes,
was not the
his
brother.
son, Kevin.
Roger. He was lying. This classmate was a brother.
He lied to me at the time, but later he told me, like, listen, I felt so bad. I felt like he was grooming you. That's my pops. Like, your dad. So how old was he really? At the time, I want to say he was already in his late 30s.
She said straight to story time.
I don't trust him. I'm wondering whether or not he has immunity. I'm wondering whether or not he's going to be testifying. I don't trust him. And I feel like people like him is what's going to make this a RICO.
This is crazy. Because if this is how he's moving, Roger Bonds came swinging to try and protect Diddy, doing all them podcasts and interviews.
Yeah, no, I used to be in the car with him, and he would tell me, like, when he had to go pick up Cassie. He would have to go pick her up for Diddy, because Diddy had just hit him and told him where to go pick her up from. And I'm just like, she's a grown woman. Why can't she do for herself? But I guess.
And you were only 17. That's so young.
17, and he was bringing me gift bags from all of the Sean John parties and Ciroc. Yeah, he was bringing me gift bags. Even back then they were doing stuff with oh God, what is his name? Kimura's husband.
Yeah, that guy, Simmons.
Yes, Russell Simmons. The gift bags from their parties. Every party that Diddy was having, he was just bringing me gifts from. But he never wanted me to go to these parties. And I found that interesting. Like, why not me? Knowing that I hosted parties, that's what I did. I was a model hostess for parties. That's what I did.
You about to be subpoenaed, child. You about to be understand.
He knows who I am. No, but I don't know. I don't trust that man, and I'm waiting to hear if he's going to testify and what he has to say.
Right. Now, the other reason why I did that is because there were people that came to our house. And I'm going to show you the grass that they did. And they rode on the grass 4 a.m. in the morning, knocked on the door, and they turned their lights out on the car so that we couldn't see it. But the biggest thing is that even during the day, there were suspicious characters who kind of fit the description of Roger, this young man she's talking about, 2 doors from my house. And apparently there was, the story got a little viral, and certain times we were filing stuff. People showed up at our house. And sometimes they didn't come right to the door, but 2 doors away. And the reason why I wanted to show the grass thing again and again, the grass and also somebody coming to the house, I want to say it was 2018-19 in the fall, to talk about how to get in my house. This happened, everybody. So when I hear somebody talking about blowing a car up, the young lady says she thinks that that the 13-year-old young lady who was Jane Doe was telling the truth because somebody picked her up, et cetera, to go to a party. When I hear these things, and then my goddaughter was underage, Wanda Satterway, who had a baby, she put in her affidavit that she had sex with an older man. She identified the person. And whether it was his baby or not, even though we believe it is, she said she had sex with the person. When I hear these things, everybody, right? And hear these things, I won't say they relate to me because they do. Of course they do. Here I am going after what I believe is my rights. How dare me? I go to a federal court to get my rights. And because New Jersey is a corrupt, nasty, stinky state, and everybody knows it, they tried to do a ring-a-ring. Now, mind you, I have been asking the Attorney General's office, making mention of some of the names of the parties, their spouses, and their attorneys in the documents, calling them out, saying we need help and this is going on and that's going on, and they did nothing. And fast forward to now, we're trying to get justice. You take all the fraud. I mean, the case that we had, and I'm going to do another video, the case that we had was the biggest fraud case in the century. Because here you had fraud on top of fraud. You had the cover up was done by the judges, the staff, and a lot of other people, the attorneys. They didn't even have jurisdiction, was making decisions about stuff that led to illegal liens on my property. And the reason why they did that is because they wanted to bully me. That's why, everybody. They were trying to bully me out of the case. They had established this with Ramir. They did. They had gotten Ramir to a place where he started vomiting. The stuff was making him sick. So he stopped coming. So I'm saying this to you, when I see all this stuff going on, I've experienced some of this real life stuff. But then you go to the court where you pay taxes to, And they had the audacity to say, I don't have jurisdiction. Okay, if it's for real, the very thing you're trying to do to me is what the state court should have done back then. They tried to pick and choose what motions they wanted to listen to, throwing some out and hiding some and sending some back. But when they really should have been doing is saying, we can't listen to it. We can't hear this case, y'all. Once you notice or say you don't have jurisdiction, you're blocking me from showing you that you got personal jurisdiction, then there's no conversation. Essentially, you should have, every time something came through, said, I can't hear the case. That's what you should have said. But at the end of the day, that's not what was done. And that's why I'm still trying to show y'all stuff, show y'all what happened and what you're not. I'm going to keep it in front of everybody. Because that's how we got the new legislation that we have in place. I'm not going to say where it's going to be at because I ain't telling. There's other people working on it for us, and they got it through. So at the end of the day, like I said, my godson will probably be testifying. There's a lot of good stuff happening in spite of what the federal court would try to do. And I think in part, that's why they're doing it. One, they need more time. They don't want a discovery. They are not in search of the truth. That's why you want to get rid of the case. I get it. But you're going to need some legal matters or some law to get that out. Because what you're talking about right now, no case law is going to help you. Sorry. So at the end of the day, I just thought it was interesting. So I was trying to find that. I can't find it. I guess it's not meant for me to play it again, everybody. But I'm going to keep showing y'all Ramirez's car. I'm going to keep showing you the grass. And I'm going to keep telling you what happened. Because I need you all to keep getting it in your head. And like I told my family, if anything happened to me, if I get clipped over the street or anything, or anybody around me, I have a list of names of people and their spouses right next to them. Because some people, their spouses are thugs. Y'all better hear me. They're thugs, y'all. And they don't like the fact that somebody has something. And now all of a sudden now, our case is not so bad. Because you see all this nasty stuff going on that was going on already. It was. You knew it was. And now nobody has nothing to say about it. But they realize now what we were trying to tell you all this time. Our stuff was going on back then. Remember, y'all? So at the end of the day, you're talking about 14 years. And you think that somebody going to just let you take 14 years with the stroke of a pen and say goodbye? Do you really think that? And it's embarrassing to this country that we can't resolve matters in a diplomatic way. Not the way we kind of grew up. Now we got some nasty, low down, good for nothing people who will do anything for $1, sell their souls and all kinds of stuff, and just have no credibility. And they think that because they have money, they can change stuff. And the truth of the matter is the people don't even like you. That's the sad part. So at the end of the day, I wanted to play another clip, but I also was trying to find the doggone the grass thing, but I'm going to find it because I need you guys to keep seeing this grass thing. I really do. And the grass thing is going to be helpful because it's going to continue to put in front of you guys. I had the pictures. I got the picture of Ramir already, but I need the picture of the grass. I know where I need to put that at so I can go right to it. And I ain't got to be fishing for it. It was supposed to all be in a directory together. But I think that one thing I'd like to show you guys while I'm talking, I don't know if this is going to work or not. Let's see. We'll see. Because I want to make a point. And I don't want to just be on here just to be on here. I need to make points and understandings of what we're going through, y'all. So we showed you Ramirez's car. We can't show two things at once, right? So this is one of my favorite photos. And the reason why is because if you see the people down here under this Monopoly game, you see that? There's people under there. If the people stand, the game is over, right? You need to stand for what you believe. You need to stand for what's right. Sometimes it's not going to come easy. You got to stand. So I just want to keep on keeping on with that, because I'm not going to let anything or anybody take me down. In fact, some stuff I already knew and I was prepared. But at the end of the day, I needed to continue to come on here and be a part of the conversation each and every time I can get on here to do. So you all can understand where I'm coming from in my heart and mind. That it's not about taking anybody down. It's not talking about people. It's not trying to mess up the system. It's trying to better the system. And when somebody actually does something and it goes as far as your property, like your children, it's a little much. And I personally am not going to let folk do that. I'm not going to let you do it. So you just got the wrong girl, right? So here in this photo, as you can see, there's people under here. There's people under here. And as I said, if the people stand, this is why this is my favorite. Let me make it bigger, because this is one of my favorite photos, my all-time favorite photos. I can't get back here because of this doggone thing. Why does that always do that to me? Let me see if I can get there. No. Okay, I don't know how to. Okay, down here. It's too many windows, y'all. It's just too many windows. All right, so I think I can make it bigger here. Yepper. Okay, that's too big. There you go. I think y'all can see it there. So the whole point was this on that was to keep in front of you things that you need to have kept in front of you. That might not even. Let me see if that got bigger, because that a little bit bigger. But at any rate, y'all get my point. That if the people stand, the game is over. And again, the reason why I'm doing this is because it's similar to the cases that I'm involved with. Car shot up, attempted murder on my godson. People coming to my home 4 a.m. in the morning driving on the grass. 2 men came to talk about how they were going to get in. We saw activities of men similar to what this young lady said about Kid car blowing up. Security. I didn't say it was Diddy security. I'm not saying none of that. But it was similar type people who came 2 doors from my house when things happened around the case time. And they were whispering and talking. It was caught on my neighbor's camera, but I also could see them. So there's a lot of similarities of terrorism or terrorist type attitudes or whatever you want to call it, intimidation that we had to go through. So now, because we wanted to get justice, that's a problem. Because we went to the Attorney General of New Jersey, who's the chief police officer of the state, who's supposed to make sure everybody's rights is done. And if something's out of their constitutional right, he or she's supposed to uphold it. Didn't do it. Didn't care. And then years later, now this mess, and then this same group of people is tied to having an enormous amount of activity with minors, including my goddaughter. And now I'm supposed to just say, okay, it's okay. And you done did all this stuff, and we done paid all this money out, and then you had audacity to touch my property. But I'm supposed to say, yes, sir, master. Yes, sir, master. No, I'm not. So at the end of the day, this is personal. This is disgraceful for people to be able to get into our country and have these type of things that they're doing. It's a shame. It's a shame. And it's a shame to have to even go to court and talk about the judge. It's embarrassing, everybody. But because they wanted to be arrogant and ignorant, here we are, some of them. And we're looking out there and believing God that there's going to be a just judge, just like the word of God says, that will give you the justice you deserve in your situation. You just can't give up, everybody. Don't give up. And that's all I'm going to keep saying to you guys, because I know that's pretty much the situation for that. And I'm glad about it. I don't know what else he had with this particular thing. Oh yeah, I forget. Let's go over here. I think I do have one other thing I wanted, maybe a couple. There was an interview that was done that give us the help us with the whole thing with the RICO, because we had RICO in ours too. Sorry, we didn't want to. We had RICO in our case, and a lot of people were trying to figure out, even in the Diddy's case, how RICO tied in. RICO is not hard to tie in, just so y'all know. Essentially, when, let's see if this is it. Nope, that's not it. Here it is. The RICO is not hard to tie in. It's basically if two or more people are part of some sort of conspiracy. And in our case, we had some people. We had people in the clerk's office in family court in New Jersey who told me stuff. And they were told to throw things out in the trash and blah, blah, blah. None of that helped them because we still had stamped copies. But the whole thing is corruption to hide, stuff is real. And now ours is 14 years later. Now we see why. There is so much, I want to say so much human trafficking stuff going on that is crazy. I'm literally crazy, everybody. So at the end of the day, let's see what we can get here. I think I want to move that over there. All right. Yeah, let's see what the girl's gonna talk about here. We're gonna play that because I haven't heard this and I want to hear this too, y'all.
All right, I'm joined now by defense attorney and former prosecutor Mark Eiglarsha. I always love talking to you about this. Mark, it's amazing how much angry debating is going on between lawyers, legal analysts, people who are watching the trial, reporters, as to, yeah, all of this shows that Sean Combs is a terrible guy, but it doesn't amount to RICO. I am one of the people who argues and debates that a lot of this shows RICO. And, Kid Cudi seemed to have a lot of stories that matched up with the predicate acts to RICO. Did you agree or disagree?
Well, it helped. But here was my feeling on Kid Cudi. He proved with 100% certainty, beyond all shadow of a doubt, that Diddy may have committed arson. Probably, maybe committed arson. That's not enough. In fact, there's a reason why no one was ever arrested for that crime. No one was ever prosecuted. There's no direct evidence at all linking Sean Combs. And that's a problem. It's enough for the court of public opinion, but it's not enough for a court of law where proof beyond a reasonable doubt is required. Do we think he did it? Heck yes, we think he did it. But I don't know if that's enough to prove arson as one of those crimes that they've alleged was part of his RICO criminal enterprise.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Apart from the fact that he threatened to do it before it was actually done, he didn't. There's no evidence that he used a staff member or anyone in his enterprise to do that either. I was more interested in the break-in and an assistant named Capricorn Clark, who apparently Kid Cudi said screamed to him on the phone, I was forced into a car and forced to drive with Diddy to your home where I am parked right now. And he is in there in your home right now. To me, that screamed with a receipt almost of forced labor and coercive behavior within your enterprise to commit a crime.
Yeah, it's possible. It's not enough to show he's a really bad guy. It is definitely not enough to show that he is an abuser, which they have proven beyond all doubt. They must show these crimes. I'll tell you, we got a lot of drug testimony today, and that was one of the crimes that was alleged. So you got that. You got potentially this arson where, again, you know, the difference between OJ, for example, is most jurors still thought he was a good guy for the most part. He was the guy running through the airport. You know, people gave him the benefit of the doubt. The minute they showed the video with him treating Cassie like his own piñata, they immediately shifted. There was no presumption of innocence. They hated this guy, and every day we're getting more reasons to hate him. So in a close call, they're going to err on the side of the government. So believing it was him, might be enough to prove arson.
I'm with you. I absolutely am with you. I think that their stomachs are turning regularly, and that is making them angry at the man who's sitting in front of them with all these allegations against him swirling. Last one, this assistant, George Kaplan, I thought was another bunch of receipts for RICO. He said he was actually sent out on drug runs with cash to go get drugs for Diddy, and he peeked inside the bag and said it was MDMA. Not only that, he was asked to go buy witch hazel to go fix Cassie's face with all the swelling from the beatings that he'd witnessed. And so to me, that was, again, a staffer who's meant to be. Oh, and by the way, the witch hazel was supposed to be purchased on the company credit card. So once again, these are moments where I say, here's a Tony Soprano guy using his enterprise and his staff members to either facilitate or cover up the crimes that are being committed within that enterprise.
I love to disagree with you, but I can't. On this point, I cannot, actually. I believe that they're starting to shape. And again, don't judge the case now. You know, it's like judging a building when they put blocks together, bricks together. It's not done. You know, maybe there is more direct evidence about the arson, but at a minimum, if this guy's believed, we know he was doing the work of the Al Capone of the lube world. He was buying the drugs. He was cleaning up the room. It puts Diddy at the top and him as one of the co-conspirators in the RICO.
I really hope that TMZ picks up that headline, Al Capone of the lube world, because I don't think I've heard anyone put it better. Real quickly, when the defense actually does, and I've got like 10 seconds, but when the defense does begin its case, what do you do? Like, what do you do?
You argue that this wasn't rape, it was regret. You argue it wasn't against her will. She stuck in there. She wanted this. And yes, there were times that she was beaten and it was bad, but she stuck around. It was consent. That's what the defense will have to hammer.
Oh, it's going to be an uphill climb. You got to come back. Thanks, Mark.
My pleasure. Thank you, Mike.
Oh, I'm talking, everybody. Y'all didn't tell me. Y'all didn't tell me. I'm doing all this talking and nobody can hear me. All right, so y'all got to see their picture for a long time. That's beautiful too. So, but what I was saying, why I was on mute there, was that again, I'm seeing some of this stuff for the first time. I'm getting you guys abreast, like I'm getting abreast to find out about stuff because the RICO had a lot to do with my case as well. When you have two or more persons involved, then that's the RICO. And then there were a conspiracy. And in our case, we had just that. We had other people who were involved in stuff that were connected to somebody else that was involved with our case. And that's how it tied together. It was just weird to me to try to see that nobody knows anything about stuff. When people go through stuff, they got to go to court to try to get some justice or some relief. And in this case, people did the same thing. And the reason why I'm sighing, because I keep saying, and I'm going to say it over and over again, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. So I think about Tory. You know, there was a few weeks ago that Tory, he almost got killed. Yep, he almost got killed. And he reminds me of my godson in the jail. And they said it was related, according to the information out there, to Rock Nation. And I was like, why? Why would it be related to not Rock Nation? And come to find out through looking at some stuff that he was connected to that with the young lady he was dating and this whole shooting thing. And then I also saw the father of Tory, who's a prayer warrior. So of course that made me smile. But nonetheless, I try to keep up with all these types of stories, not to keep them in my spirit too much. But I do want to keep them in my heart, right? Because I feel like if you don't deal with some of the things that are happening the way you should, in a healthy sense, you're going to run into problems. You're going to run into some issues. And we don't want that. Let me see if I could flip this over here and see what happens. Ooh, because this light is hot. Yeah, that's better. So, yeah. So, Tory is another one I wanted to play to get us caught up, get myself caught up. Because, again, I like to do these kind of things in order to keep things close to my heart. And you might have heard about it already. But I usually do it because there's something about it that it makes me think about, you know, oh, this is only 2 minutes. So then let me just see. Okay, let me just go back then. This is Ticket TV. Hold on, y'all. I got to just figure this out. All right. Let me figure that out. Because this is a very short video, which I didn't realize, because he has all these long ones. And now he got a short one. That's a big deal. So I wanted to see what's going on with this because, again, I need to know, because it keeps me closer to the situation without being too dramatic about it and too much drama. But I want to keep people in my heart and what's going on because the community is a big part of my life. And because of all these things that has happened, I'm even more connected because our case is a community case. We haven't had an attorney because of some corruption stuff. And some of the attorneys that will try to support you will do it behind the scenes. But nonetheless, here is Tory Lanzan. He's in prison. And I'm not going to go through all the drama why he's there. But I believe he needs to be freed for various reasons, and definitely now. And I think that his father's going to get it done. So, and, you know, we kind of got some connections with there. So I'm going to be trusting that that's going to work out. But here we are. Let's listen in on what they have to say. Let me see here. Let me make sure I got everything together because you'll know how I am. Okay. All right. So that should be good. Yeah. So I'm going to do, this is Ticket TV, and he's all, you know, he's all in a bag of chips. So he's doing pretty good with his podcast.
All right, y'all, man. Salute everybody in here, man. I got some breaking news for everybody, man. Tory Lanez, rapper Tory Lanez, has just been attacked in prison. He was poked up. And he's been rushed to the hospital right now. According to reports from TMZ, he's basically been poked up while on the prison yard.
Ridiculous.
Oh, man.
Yeah, this was like almost 10 days.
He's basically been poked up on the prison yard. It says that he was on the yard of California Correctional Institution, and when another inmate poked him up. It said, according to multiple sources, including one law enforcement, it's unclear the motivation for the attack. One source says that Tory was rushed by ambulance to a nearby civilian hospital in Bakersville, California. It says that he's serving a 10-year sentence at the California State Prison for the 2020 shooting of Meg Thee Stallion. It says that him and Meg are bowing out in court. She's accusing him of things, he's accusing her, but what's more important, okay, they're saying that the injury is non-life threatening. Thank God. So they said the injury is non-life threatening. He's been rushed to the hospital. He's got a non-life threatening injury. Devastating information about Tory Lanez being released right here, man. Devastating information.
So that's the update on there. And I think that speaks for itself. So it's good to hear that he is not going to have suffered any serious injuries. But that just to be poked up, I think they said it was 11 times. So that's crazy. So, but to here we are with a young man in jail for something he's saying he has not done. And I believe him. And something else was going on with somebody he was dealing with. And somehow he got poked up in prison. So this is like, y'all need to pay attention to. If you have loved ones that are involved with any kind of cases and then get another case in district court somewhere or anybody court, pay attention. Because some of the judges want to be seen and heard or have friends who are celebrities, right? Because I guess they feel whatever about themselves. And they might do stuff to you or your loved one to mess that up. So I'm just saying, when I say mess it up, I mean to exaggerate or accelerate their situation to make it more than what it is because it's who they are. There's some stuff going on now for some people I know. And we're keeping an eye on it. We, fully aware. Because guess what? God is going to have his way. I come against witches, warlocks, and enemies. I curse them in the name of Jesus. Every demonic thing the enemy tries, I curse it in Jesus' name. And I thank God for the enemy under my feet in Jesus' name. So I'm just saying this to say that, yeah, everybody, there is some stuff going on out there. Keep your eyes open, because sometimes when you are doing something and you're a part of something, so forth and so on, everybody don't like that. They don't like it, everybody. They want you to not be good with it. They want to stick it to you. They want to show you, I got power. I'm going to show you how much power I got. I'm going to show you what I can do. I curse everything that is not from the living God. I curse it in Jesus' name. God will take care of it. Yes, he will. You'll see. Glory to God. Don't get me started on that right now. Okay? If God spoke it, it shall come to pass. And each time people do something, they pretty much what they doing is they making the word of God in God's situation effective. Not non-effective, but effective. Because the more you don't do what you ain't supposed to do, God is going to make sure he does what he's supposed to do. This affects everybody. So here I want to play this other thing because it was some court transcripts out there, y'all. And y'all know we got to look at some court transcripts for real. Why ain't that playing? Okay. Right. So this is some court transcript stuff that I wanted to look at for one of the other witnesses for Diddy's case was like an assistant. It was a supervisor, I think, just people that was close in the circle. But they brought the transcripts out to show you what was being said. Now, this is the good thing about some credible courts and states, that you'll get the verbatim. In our case, let's talk about me and my Ramirez case. It was corruption. So a lot of the transcripts were altered, especially when Kenneth Winters, the attorney, came on. He was going back, and from my understanding, and paying people $2,000 to change the transcript, to change the audio. so that when the transcript got done, it would be different. So he came in about 2014, and our case started in 2012. And somewhere after that, because the women in the appellate division told me that he was the bag man, that Kenneth L. Winters was the bag man. He was another attorney added onto the case that we were doing, which Jay-Z, Sean Carter. My godson had a separate one. His was an inheritance case. I brought the original action in the beginning, where the fraud began, with the jurisdiction and the lies about the property, blah, blah, blah. And then he did the inheritance, which was which was out of that. And Kenneth L. Winters came right around that time with Ramirez's case in the beginning. And according to the appellate division, the case managers there, they said he was the bag man. So at any rate, what I'm saying is this was good to see that this transcript is raw. It's raw and it's real. Whereas in our case, not every case though, but in our case, there was some manipulation. Now, the good thing is that some of the parties recorded stuff. Yeah, they did. To y'all. Some of the parties recorded it. And even though they called themselves having a sealed record, which was a joke, you can't seal fraud, right? And you have a closed courtroom, and some of the courtroom wasn't closed. There was people in there. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. So I'm glad a lot of these things happened over the years, because by the time we got to do what we needed to get done, it was pretty good. We could see stuff. So let me just stop talking and get y'all into this. Did I share it? Let me share the screen first. Let me stop talking, because I want to get into a lot of this stuff, because I think this is more important than me just grab my mouth. But I still want you to know what's going on with our stuff. But I'm trying to get you to see all the relations. Everything that I'm bringing to you, I can relate to. And what happened in our case, right? I'm going to skip around on this, but we're going to start it out.
Because like I said, some people, like this is down in the courthouse transcript. So down in the courthouse transcript is everything. It's way more than what's the bits and pieces that's being put out and doing a great job that they're doing in inner city. Inner city's doing a great job, but it's not everything. People thinking, oh, that's everything that's being said. No, that's not everything that's being said. But what we're gonna do is, and I knew this was gonna happen, man. Diddy is on the ropes, and they know it. They know he's down, and they know it's real bad right now. But you guys are gonna be surprised by what happened today, because Brian Steele, he let off a big one in the sidebar, and it's right there in the transcripts today. And again, shout out to Down in the Rabbit Hole News for dropping it like it's hot on the world, Craig. And as you guys can read, right there in that sidebar, that was today. Brian Steele, at the sidebar, asked the judge, may I? And the judge says, yes. And Brian Steele said, Your Honor, I'm going to move for a mistrial. The government knows the answer is about to be that Mr. Combs has had other people killed. This is an outrageous question. The judge says he didn't say that. Brian Steele said, but he will say that. The judge says he hadn't said that. Brian Steele said, well, he's about to say it. And I'm putting the court on notice. And the judge laid the smacketh down and told Brian Steele, you ain't putting a damn thing on notice. There ain't going to be no mistrial. Point blank, period. And, bro, shout out to Down in the Rabbit Hole News for, man, picking this up late at that sidebar. The official court documents, the ones that y'all don't see online. The official word by words. And that boy, I was watching this video. That entire play-by-play today. Forget y'all looking at the one that's on line on inner city. That ain't the official. You got to go down to the courthouse and get the official transcript, the one that they typing in the court of everybody saying the official transcript. That gets every word. We're missing a whole lot, and that's no shot at inner city because they're doing the best they can do. Albeit the situation.
You can't change it,
but
either.
If you look at those real transcripts, man, boy, you missing the whole slab because Kid Cudi went in today. You understand what I'm saying? And
I think I was on mute when I was saying all that. Let me say it again. The reason why I'm playing this is because you need credible judges in the state and the federal court. And this judge is letting him know, you're not going to say stuff to me because I know my job. And it doesn't matter whether it's a pro se person or an attorney, the law is still the same. In our case, and I believe this, that they couldn't have somebody like myself, a Black female, being able to excel in their case where it's the laws on their side and the fraud is there and the laws on their side, where it makes the judges and the deputy of New Jersey look bad. But that's not how this works. So at the end of the day, it's going to get fixed, everybody. And we're going to make sure it gets fixed because that's what we do. But I'm saying this to say this judge, and the reason why I'm playing it is because this judge is letting him know, I know the law, and you're not going to tell me what the law is, and I'm going to do what's right. Now, unfortunately, if somebody tried to kill somebody, it's out there. They tried to kill my godson. They tried to kill my godson, y'all. Vermeer Satterway. There were 6 bullets in his car. One of them could have hit him because he was in the car, and he was in the car with another person. So at the end of the day, I'm just saying this to say, this is why you need to do what you need to do for justice so that it can prevail wherever you are. And that's why I'm playing this and letting y'all see what a transcript is, what it looks like as far as being correct and accurate, not altered, like Kenneth Winters did. He altered stuff. There was so much corruption. We were part of the biggest fraud case in the world in the last 100 years. The stuff that they did was staggering. And they did it because, one, they knew that the court didn't have jurisdiction, and the judges knew that, and they let it happen because what are you going to do? You can't appeal something that never really happened. But yet it went through all the mechanics of it. All the stuff that goes, the transcripts, the money, the fees, all that went through what it went through, but it was all fraud and it was phony. But this judge here, this is the reason why I'm playing this, so y'all can see what a real judge looks like, a federal, because I'm going to employ these. I'm going to be doing some interviews with some of them. Yes, I am, y'all. We're going to have some interviews with some of these judges who really have credibility in the community. And the ones who don't are going to be called out. You want to stay with the establishment. You want to keep friends. Instead of following the law, and you're a minority too, you should be ashamed of yourself. And the way some of these judges feed their families and attorneys and clients, you feed your family off of filth, off of phony. That's what you do. It's a disgrace, everybody. It's a disgrace. But anywho, let me just keep playing. I'm going to let him talk. And I'm going to stop talking. I am. I'm really going to stop, y'all.
And, when they basically tried to get him to get off that, he thought that Diddy did that too. No. I thought he thinks Diddy did it. Look at the official transcripts.
Yeah, he did say that.
And he stood 10 toes on that.
If you have a 700 plus credit score, you qualify for Chase's new program where you could access up to.
And that's why I told y'all earlier today, I said on Tuesday, yes, $500 for the official court transcripts on each day. $500.
Yeah.
To get the word by word. So you guys are getting the bits and pieces as much as they can give you in inner city. But the word by word, transcript, the official one that's being typed that has everything, that a lot of people are missing all this information. Brian Steele asked for a sidebar today, Diddy's lawyer, and got slammed on. And shout out to Down in the Rabbit Hole News. And I'm going to give her all her props. And matter of fact, I'm going to put a link to her channel after this video is over with at the top of the comment section so y'all can go check out that video. But I'm going to talk about some of what she said. Now, let's get into some of what she said right here.
Here's the sidebar. May I, Mr. Steele? Yes, the court. Your Honor, Mr. Steele speaking. I'm going to move for a mistrial. The government knows. Hold up, let me get this down real quick. Wait, a mistrial? Hold up. Your Honor, I'm going to move for a mistrial. The government knows that the answer is about to be that Mr. Combs has had other people killed. This is an outrageous question. He didn't say that, Mr. Steele responds. But he will say that. He hasn't said that. Well, he's about to say it.
Now, let me stop that right there. That's guilty conscience. And I told y'all, Brian Steele overhyped me. I told y'all this. He overhyped me. Brian Steele over there telling the judge, he's going to say that. The judge says he didn't say that, though. But he's going to say it. I know he's going to say it. What do you mean you know he's going to say it? How do you know he's going to say it? Where do you get that he's going to say that Diddy has had other people killed if you ain't even asked the man a question? Come on, bro. Brian Steele is down there saying, bro, this is crazy work. This is crazy work. How do you know what he's going to say the answer to the So Brian Steele is banking on the answer to the question to come out. Man, this is crazy work, bro.
It is crazy work.
Let's keep going.
I'm putting the court on notice. The court responds, no, you don't get to put me on notice.
I know that. Right.
There's no ground for any kind of application along those lines.
And the judge stepped on him. Shout it down in the Rabbit Hole News. Girl, you got it. The judge says, hey, you don't get to put nobody on notice. The hell you talking about? You better sit down and get the smackdown laid on you here in the courtroom. If you smell what the Rock is cooking. Oh, what the hell is wrong with you? Hold on. Down in the rabbit hole. Hey, man. This Cuddy.
Do not pay your next car insurance bill. Repeat. Do not pay your bill yet.
So I thought,
and just, he did what he do, laid the smackdown. He said, well, he's about to say it, and I'm putting the court on notice. The judge says, man, no. You don't get to put me on notice. The hell wrong with you? There's no grounds for any kind of application along those lines. Because no question that you're talking about has been asked and the answer has not been given, says the judge. Now, what is your objection to the question that was asked? Brian Steele says, well, why were you scared of Mr. Combs? And his answer is going to be because Mr. Combs is violent. He has had, see, bro, listen, how does he know what this man's answer is going to be? Did he talk to Kid Cudi before Kid Cudi got up on the stand? That's why I told y'all, man, Diddy going to prison forever and a day, man.
Yeah, I'm going to stop there. I think this is like weird because in one hand, we're trying to get the information so that we could get the information. And then on the other hand, we're also comparing it. Okay, I know what I was trying to do with that too. I wanted to talk about, it was another person in this interview that they were going to interview. And I thought I wanted to see what that was about because I was trying to see the connection to it. So let me just skip over some of that stuff because when they start doing all this talking, it just drives me crazy. But at the end of the day, let me go back. I'm going to go back and share part of the screen because I wanted to know what this is and I wanted to kind of look at it with y'all and then see what it is what we're talking about here. So let's look at this, y'all, because I wanted to see what this was. Bro, and you talking about here.
I ain't never seen nothing like it before. This dude had so many, bro. It was literally like half and half.
Oh, this is the OJ.
It was half and half. Outside the court, bro. This man was on trial for murder. Bro, it was half and half. You wouldn't believe it.
All right. This ain't something I wanted to see anyway. So this was dealing with OJ and his drama. And like he said, everybody was half and half. I'm not really interested in that. I was trying to see who this other, okay, that was the attorney who said the mistrial stuff. I got it. All right, I was just trying to put all the dots together. There's a couple bloggers that I kind of really follow, and I just get some of their stuff and tie it in. But I only, again, deal with what I feel like I can relate to. And then I go from there, because pretty much you can't relate to everything. But there are a few things I might do outside that, but not much. But at anywho, here we are. Here we are, everybody. Here we are trying to live our lives and be good citizens, I hope. And sometimes doing that is not always good enough. But I want to leave on this note. I want you to know that it's good enough for God, and that you have a purpose. I have a purpose. And if God has called you to do something and to see it through, I pray that you do. It's the same thing with the case that I'm dealing with. And although this district court judge, and I'll have his name later, I can't get it right now. I don't even remember. I think I do, but I don't. I've been doing some other stuff, and the other things are a little more important than knowing his name or remembering his name or giving it to y'all. But in this particular matter, very disappointing on the system and how people are swayed and not a part of the real establishment. I want someone out there to give pro se people, to give attorneys, to give everybody who comes before the court fair due process, and just let justice ring and let it rule for real. So today we went over quite a few things. We talked about some of the things that me and my godson's been going through with our case, that they have dismissed my case because Ramir's not on it, with dealing with the judges in New Jersey. We have other cases, but nonetheless, of course, that's not over with, y'all, because it just happened. So there's some stuff that's going to happen. But it was right in the middle of the things of our Pro Se Abuse Act being passed in another state. So we have a few states have adopted it. And then we have my godson going through, probably being a part of this big landslide case with P. Diddy. There's just a lot going on, y'all. But nonetheless, I just wanted to come on and connect with you guys like I always do, and make the connection, because I feel like the connection is important for you all to hear from me. I was looking for questions. I just got one question from somebody, and they said, where is Allie Carter? You know, Allie Carter was one of the victims. Don't forget about the victims, y'all. The victims are very, very important. And one of the victims is my goddaughter, Wanda Satterwhite. It is. Wanda Satterwhite said in her affidavit that she had a sexual relationship with an older man. And as a result, she had gotten a baby. And from that, she never tried to do anything negative with it. But the state was supposed to be doing things to protect her when they found out about it. Instead, myself, her, and her son went through 14, 10, 20, 25 years, depending on who you ask and when it started for them, because she's not with us anymore. All these years of struggle, or what do you want to call it? Litigation, fraud, lies, all that. And even today, the very embarrassing federal court, embarrassing to this country, the state of New Jersey is embarrassing, would do some of the things they do with no credibility, and really think we're gonna let you get away with it. I mean, it's really crazy, especially when you don't know who we know, and sometimes you don't know who's working around you. Folk got a lot of cousins, right? But at any rate, it's just sad. But I wanted to talk about these things because I felt like these things are important to talk about. They need to be talked about. They need to be addressed. So be encouraged, everybody. I hope that we said something here today that will help you help yourself, that you will feel empowered and feel free. And I did find the picture. I'm gonna play that picture. I'm gonna keep on playing these pictures. You're gonna see these a lot. This is the one that was my home. I already showed you my godson. This is my home back here, my older home that I sold, the yellow house back there. And this is the track marks from the 4 p.m. or 4 a.m. in the morning. I want to just keep that in front of y'all. I don't want you to ever forget about what we went through. I don't want you to forget about it, y'all, because you might have to go through it. Somebody else might have to go through it. So this is the property where somebody drove on the grass 4 o'clock in the morning, I guess to startle us, and really thought we were going to open the door. And then there was somebody that came to my home, not this time, another time in the fall of this later on time. And it was, pretty with the fall, it was dark when they came, about 5 o'clock-ish when it was getting dark. And they were talking about how to get into the house. I heard them. My neighbor heard them. So here you have all this stuff that went on. All these egregious things because of the actions of the judges. And you mean to tell me that nobody's accountable? Nobody gets nothing? And then you want to throw out somebody's case in entirety when there's other elements of the case. This is a problem, everybody. It's a problem in our country. It's a problem in our world. It's a problem in our city. And unless we do something about it, it's going to stay a problem. But guess what? I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to be the person that's helped make the change. Where I live, where I work, and where I pray and all the other stuff, where God got me. I'm not going to sit back and let anything or anybody rule something when I know it's not right. So here is the property. You already saw Ramirez, and I'm going to figure out a way to put stuff side by side. I think you got to have another person in here if you wanted to try to put another bubble up there. So we're not going to do that. But I just want you all to see this, get it in your spirit, and then also understand what people have been through. I always like to lead out with this. I don't want to discourage nobody, so I try to give you something that will be uplifting too, because I feel like we can't just always be negative or feel like there is a situation. But at any rate, this is what it is for right now. And I'm asking you, saying to you, just stay encouraged and be positive about where you are and who you are. Don't let anything or anybody deter you of who you are, because you have a purpose. You have a purpose and you have a mission in this world to accomplish. So yeah, I'm going to be signing out for Keeping It Real with Dr. Lil. I'll be back with you guys maybe later on tonight and definitely tomorrow to continue to talk about the different subjects. You'll see some more videos and stuff that we're doing and places we're going. And some of the places we'll be able to give you the download, if you want, the information rather, they say, so that you can maybe something you can get out of it as well. All right, everybody. This is Keeping It Real with Dr. Lil, and I'm excited to be here, excited to be a part of this movement and just gliding along to do what I have to do. Because guess what? I'm going to do it, y'all. I'm going to do it, y'all. I'm really going to do it. But I was trying to see about this camera thing. Why does it do this too? It's over that way. Okay. All right. But anywho, this is like a really interesting thing with these studios. Some of you look purple in one, brown in another, and gray in another. Okay. There's a lot of different little things. But yeah, Keep It Real with Dr. Lil. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope and pray that we will see you next time on Keeping It Real with Dr. Lil. Thank you.